Well, we're back with personal development courses with one of the key skill that we don't talk much about, but is one of the most important skill for future leader. And I was required to my board member that a decision making. That makes it clear. To become volunteer, yeah, of course, you want to volunteer your time, your energy for doing something, and you don't ask for a kickback. Donor, you give away part of your ownership or interest for other interests. Altruism, guys, the same. Think about other people. But if you want to be on the board of director, uh, board of leadership, key ability you need to do is decision making. You make decision for the organization, and so that's why I only require my board of director first. Gotta be a donor, which is we learn from the uh, board member essential in nonprofit. Second, you got to be have ability decision making. You got to make decision for organization and for other people in the community. And third, of course, you got to make it your strategic plan, your decision into action plan, which is we can talk about other day of skill of implementation and action plan design. But today we talk about decision making. Uh, Depends on the worldview and perspective of that decision in your individual, decision in organization, the decision in politics, in economics, in social organizations, in science, in educations. It depend on the worldview and how you expect that. The complexity of decision making could be tremendously by the overlaps of the different contexts, different approach, different style, different personality and philosophy of individual and in the group too. But today I'm trying to show you the complexity of that and try to simplify it into some sort of popular module. And we all know that have many module depend on many different way of thinking, but as more as we know about different module, we'll figure out the one is suitable for us and suitable for the context of what we're going to do. So that is the goals of this course. And of course, you have a two online course related to that, which is, I believe, have the two unique way to approach this pretty significant skill. All right, decision making, as usual. We all start with definition, but without definition, we confuse ourselves. Because there are two things we normally think, that is similarity, and we chart these terms together, that is decision and choice. So I always, based on personal website, based on etymology of that, which is the study of the wording we use in populations. So decision, of course, in mid 15th century, based on decisions, right, based on French, Latin, it's actually reciting a settlement agreements, right? You see that determine, right, cut off, and final judgment, opinion in a case. The quality being decided character, ability to make prompt determinations, right? A set up a resolution of fixing a purpose. That's basically the idea of decision, which is we determine to a settlement. We figure out a resolution which is leading to a purpose. How about choice? Choice is, of course, using mid 14th century. Let's year earlier, action is selecting, power of choosing, right? We talk about French, based on French, based on Germanic language, right? To try, to taste. And of course, we have the adjective of that. So we see the difference between decision and choice. Decision is more like agreement, uh, more like settlement. What is the agreement settlement? Sorry. wording related to wording, right? It's mean it have discussion, it's have the harmony, have the equilibrium between different idea. We figure out the best, the most sense which of idea which is settlement to achieve multiple goals. Choice, which is a choosing. Yeah, this is like a try, a try, a taste, which is we pick this and not pick that, which is a little bit simplified a decision. That's why choice is more based on your quick reaction. So as Daniel Kahneman say, a choice is basically based on the system one of your mind, which is based on biased stereotypes, based on your gut. Normally, we all say, yeah, trust your gut. So your gut, basically, the complex autopilot system of your mentality, each choice. But decision is requires more of a system two, of a rational being, rational thinking. Well, consideration a little bit, carefully selection. So that is two. But of course, when we add into the word rational, this will be a little bit close in the definition, but we just try to figure it out like that. I figured out another separation between choice and decision in here, which is, I think, pretty close with that. Choice can be defined as an opportunity, right, and power to choose, which is fine. Decision can be defined as reaching a conclusion or resolution after consideration. So we see that decision always have consideration. And after we think, we compare, we wedging the different variables, which is we can see in the next slide. We figure out the last rational choice, what I can say. But choice is just like, yeah, the opportunity, pick this, pick that, right? Eat apple, it means you not eat banana, right? You eat apple, banana, but you cannot eat watermelon, right? So choice is influenced by a person's values, belief, and perception about choice, right? Decision is influenced by the analysis of fact information. Well, it could be right, it could be wrong if we go deep enough, because basically everything influenced by personal value, belief, and perception. And then that layer one, value, belief, and perception. And then we talk about analysis, about science, about rational behavior, talk about comparisons and fact analysis. But yeah, choice is more about personal, individual, so psychological approach. But decision is more systematic, political, sociology approach, um, and rational decision making, rational thinking process. So choice is implied existence of alternative, right? Decision does not imply existence alternative, right? Which does mean it means choice. When we talk about choice, we have two or three options. When we pick one, we pick out the existence. Before we making choice, there are three things, three options exist together: banana, apple, and watermelon. When we pick one, you have one. You just can pick one. You just select one. I have one choice. When we pick banana, it means we re replace the existence of apple and watermelon. If we pick two, we replace the other one, right? We don't pick anything. We replace all three. It means it not belong to the choice anymore. Decision is different. Decision is it normally have no choice. Decision is mean we don't have the various selection. It's more than 3 or 5 or 10 something, or mean unlimited, infinity. Decision is the twist out that leading to the goal, which is not related to the existence of anything because they have nothing existent. There are no alternatives. But choice, you have alternative. Yeah, I know this third one is pretty hard to understand, but it's more in the personal situation than in the social dynamic situation. But this too is more replaced though how we understand the difference between choice and decision. Choice is personal, psychological, decision, rational, systematic. But we will see that we go deeper at that. It all overlaps, but we talk about today decision making is a process. Complexity of thinking is not a simple choice based on the gut. That is the key idea of this. Okay, so we talk about the first course. I think it's have pretty open and comprehensive approach of decision making from the Open University, and of course, the course is free. And the first significant thing we talk about here, before we go to this course, we talk about the idea of Philip Tellock, 1991. It's about three competing metaphors employ human decision making. People as naive economists, rational perspective. People as naive psychologists, psychological perspective, and people as naive politicians, social perspective. So let's explain a little bit. It means that we have three, when we call naive, it means we have three separate perspective about human decision making, which is rational, right? Using your brain. Everybody in the decision making process is rational, which is not psychologically believe that everybody working on decision making is based on the psychological only, right? Heavily, like choice, right? Based on value, belief, perspective, emotion, characteristic, which is not, and which is people as naive politicians, it's just based on social perspective. Yeah, the layer, the hierarchy, the impact, the relationships, the justice, the power, which is not. The realistic approach of modern for modern theory of decision making is all the overlap of all these three. But we cannot just jump in on overlap immediately. We should see on different module first, and then we can mix and match depending on what you need. And because you have a utility theory, basically it's a rationality theory, rational theory. A rational way you just weighting different value. We see weight the criteria, and we have some theory up here and Bayesian, but a rational process. So we can see that they are popular. There are three major branches of decision making: rational, which is consciously, carefully thinking, logical, right? Psychological, emotion, uh, value, belief, chains, uh, personalized, and social, which is relationship, justice, power, and human oriented, which is the three major approach of that. And we can see it's in this course. I believe it has a link in here. Okay. We'll go briefly about that, but we'll see that the major idea of that. Okay. Introduction. It's not a big deal. Okay, talk about learning outcomes. This course. Okay, insight, effective. Okay, range of different perspectives. So this is the key idea. We have different perspective of things. Don't try to combine together, right? Don't try to assume that we have the same perspective. We're not. We just try to understand other people's perspective. The same thing we call, you gotta be where other people's shoes, where other people had, stand in other people's position. The same thing. Okay. And we talk about another terms in here, that is the risk, which is make this decision making theory a little bit complicated. It's related to risk, risk tolerance of individuals, and risk evaluation, but we can talk about risk in a different course. Okay. To explain a little bit of this course. We talk about history, right? Mathematics. Mathematics basically is the logic. History and literature is about cultural and social perspective. Right? Remember that decision making is social science, so based on human beings. That's why it have a mix into social complexity and psychological complexity too, not only rational. Okay, there's many books talking about normative. They tell you how you should make decision, which is a different way of approach in a narrative, which is normative, which is we give you a structure and theory and model of how you should make decision. But this course is different. This course using descriptive, which is we try to understand how decisions are actually made, and then you figure out it for yourself. You just roll back. If the normative is up to down, descriptive is down to up, the upside. Okay, I think people like descriptive, like primitive, because it makes sense then when you understand the details and you then give you the model. That's why people don't like go to school. People don't like science. People don't like theories because it's not applied in reality of many people. But when you understand, like I like theory, because when you understand theory enough and enough different type of theory, you understand a thousand different reality, because that is how theory will create. Theory is will create of testing out a thousand of data and thousand of groups and population, which is we testing 10,000 or 20,000 of different reality, and we draw out the framework of that. But this is the goal of this course: explain the detail, and you draw out the framework, not give you the framework. Okay, talk about some exercise. I'll not go detail on that. It's just testing out and they can reveal the answer for you. The goal of this exercise is show you about a different approach of decision making. Right? And we are different human beings. We have different background. We have different belief. And this is a key idea when we talk. We have 3 different approach. We have more than that, but try to put it to 3. Okay. Let's say economics believe everybody rational maximize the utility or maximize the interest. Right. That's why it is try to do model mathematically, try to logical it as much as possible. Second, psychological perspective, right? You have related to cognitive, related to characteristic, optimistic, pessimistic, right? Behavior, mental issue, right? The rule of thumbs normally is psychological, right? But it's not a complete logical model. It's just the way you draw out from the sigma of your own experience and reality. That's why experience is not rational. Experience is just a stigma. It's just a way you draw out the way to do the rule of your own rule of thumbs to do that things based on your judgment and bias, which is right based on your own cognitive ability to decide the outcome in the course of life, a course of behavior. Could be a 10-year experience, 20-year experience, 30-year experience. But rationally, your experience not mean that it can apply to me, right? Your experience in being leaders in a non-profit organization, 501c3 in United States in 2010 to 2020 doesn't mean it can apply to the non-profit organization in Vietnam since 2022 to 2024. Doesn't mean it can apply 100%, right? That's why psychological, and that's why I don't really heavily care about experience, because experience might be work, but it just work for the small niche. It don't work for broad perspective. It don't work for rational approach of things. And of course, this thing is related to social process too, right? Society in United States, society in Vietnam, society in 2010 to 2020, and society from 2022 to 2024. Different geographic, different times created different social process and social perspective, right? So basically, that's why in our CEP we talk about sociology. Because human beings need to be make a decision in social context. You cannot eliminate social context in decision. That's why when I said beginning of this course, we somehow overlap these 3. But yeah, we try to do descriptive. We don't want to make it overcomplicated. They'll try to simplify it, and you can figure out your own approach. They always start with rational, because a rational is the easiest way to transfer knowledge based on logic. Rational is, right, the first assumption that everybody attending is decision making is rational. We are all rational decision maker. We use logic. We have the order, right? A to B to C to D, right? And that's how we assume everybody is the same in this rational module. We all know how to think, understand the logic, and we just use logic to explain. And they will understand, which is not happen in the real life. Utility theory, right? Talking about the assumption of rationality and describe all decision outcome in terms really of value. You can call value theory. Okay. So because it's based on rational process, it have clear step by step. So when we talk about rational decision making, talk about step by step, follow the step, you'll figure out the way out. That's it. First step, define the problem. Right? What's the problem? What's your problem? Right? What's the question? Right? Define the decision criteria. Right? Talk about build up the new house. That problem. What's the problem to build a new house? We don't have enough resort. What is a resort? Criteria of resort is labor work, capital for that, which is money, right? Time, right? And we talk about legal framework, right? And then now we're waiting criteria to see which one is more important, right? Which is the priority first. That's why people like money, right? That's why you got economists. When you have money, when you have capital, you have labor work that you can hire like 5 different teams, 20 people, 20 worker, 20 builder will be work faster than 5 builder. How do you get 20 builder? You have money, of course. And we have time to reach out to them, of course. Right? And then we talk about time. We figure out time. Yeah, let's take a day off, take a whole week off to build it. And not to wait it. Why do you do it, right? So now we waiting criteria. How we weight it? Of course, it's the way we say weight is to quantify and qualify the criteria or the variables. And then we generate the alternatives, which is, okay, we have a couple options in here. We can do it Monday, but I got to work for Monday, so we don't have time, right? And Monday too early, we don't have enough money. And it too rush, we don't have enough time to reach out to enough worker. We do Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. We take off some of the weekend holiday. We pay a little bit extra, but we have free time to do it, right? Or we do Sunday. Why Sunday? Sunday you do it Sunday. Sunday also the weekend. Also, it's a holiday. We pay extra. We have time to stay off. But Sunday is close to Monday. So if we do Sunday, we cannot work too late. It's going to be impact to the next day of work. So, and we rate each alternative on each criteria. So look like Saturday is better because it's not impacted work day. It's not too close to working day, right? Like Sunday. And we have time to start to talking about that and discussion about that from a weekday from Monday to Friday. And then we compute the optimal decision. Optimal decision Saturday. Start in morning, start in afternoon, and then we talk. So basically we just throw out criteria, we weighting criteria and show off multiple alternatives and evaluate the alternatives and pick the optimal decision. That's why it's work for individual and it work for groups. But we will not talk about groups decision making today because that is more about the management and leadership skill than the individual skill. All right. Yeah, we try to calculation the probabilities, different possible outcome, which is model building, and is normally using in decision science, and we're using in finance. Okay, we talk about limitation of that. What's a limitation? A rational perspective. Yeah. Okay. the problem of rational, I think the limitation is about well, it's not really explaining the limitation, but it's talk about behavior, right? Key idea is there is also a great deal of evidence that individuals do not behave in this way, which is we don't behave rationally all the time, which is pretty obvious, right? We're not machine. Rational perspective more like for the AI, for the human. We more right psychological. Which doesn't mean that we always psychological, right? Don't be radical. You don't picking choice of this, right? Of rational and irrational. Right? We both rational and irrational. It's just about how we make decision. Okay. We talk about second psychological perspective. Yeah, we talk about people is fundamentally irrational. Logic meets a challenge, right? So we challenge our own logic because we are human being, right? We have one term we did talk in is critical, is heuristic. You can see it in the famous book Think Fast and Slow of Daniel Kahneman, along with a leading scholar about decision-making theory too. And of course, he is a psychologist, so we talk about this term a lot. So which is heuristic basically is a simply simplifying, confidence-sustaining mental shortcut, right? So it's a shortcut. Basically, the way you call your gut, right? It's based on the bias, based on your perspective, based on your own experience, based on story, based on the emotion, your hormone, or whatever neuroscientists approach, right? Uh, so it's heuristic have us to make quick decision, right? When pausing to undertake a full analysis, we unwise. This mean we don't make a full analysis, we just do it quick. System one, just say. That's why the word system one in psychological perspective, because in rational thing we have carefully full analysis, right? It's not based on logic and formal rational reasoning. It's used for fast-paced, intuitive judgment and action. And this things is related to another module talking a next course we call intuitive decision making. It's the same thing. It's just a different name. We have a pretty famous theory called about rationality. What does that mean? About rationality basically mean if we accept the limitation of rationality. So rationality is this small, like a cup, and the rest of the table is a different thing. It could be psychology, it could be sociology, it could be philosophy, whatever that, but it's bigger than our rationality. We accept the limitation of human being, human consciousness, what they call, and we try to adding more tools in that. So that is a pretty popular second module of the decision making about rationality. It's too complicated. Basically, in the real world, right? They have significant limitation of the complexity. So complexity of the decision making process and the environment and make us rationality reach out the limitation. So we try to simplify it by heuristic. Now you know why I put the term complexity and simplicity in that thing. The world is complex and we try to simplify it, but we don't want to oversimplify it, which is I always say. So psychologically, we use heuristic to make the complexity decision-making process. Let's see some sort of the four step in here. Now see that rational thinking we use like 7 step, but heuristically a psychological approach we use 4 step. First, we're framing a problem. Second, using information. Third, we do a problem with adjustment, and then we do post decision evaluation. Right? Framing a problem. We're about to build a house somehow, and we need 20 people to do it. That is the problem. So we try to frame it. How you figure out 20 people, so, right? And how we figure out when's a good time to do it. Do you know how long it takes to build a house? I don't know. How much you gonna do the house? I don't know. But we need to make decision today because I want it to happen next week. I don't know. Let's do it. I use information. My information for now is I don't know how many people attend on that. So I just roll out the application. Let's see how many people attend, right? We have a limited of the information to approach. And I don't know how we do it. Limited capability of rational thinking. Okay. I don't know how much it's gonna cost. Right. I just do it. Problem adjustment. Okay. So we do it Monday, too early. We do it Saturday, sound about right. Do it Sunday, sound about right. But impact on Monday. Yeah, do it Saturday. How much? I don't know. How many people are doing it? I don't care. Just do it. Right. And after we do it, after Saturday, we have decision evaluation. Okay. That's how it's worked. That basically it. It's much simple. We don't have weighting of different, or we weighting really quick and based on a heuristic to approach this. Okay, we go detail and framing the problem. What's it frame? When we talk about frame, we isolate it. We don't really quantify it. We just when I talk about money, it's a financial side. Talk about prepare for 20 people is about HR and organization side. Talking about spread out ideas and marketing side. So we separate it and give to people who have influence ability to do that. I'm good at number finance, but I'm not good at human arrangement. HR, I'm not good at marketing, so I could delegate the HR and marketing to other people. It's a simple way to do it. Okay, this is not really important. We can play this later. Second step, right? Using information that we normally based on our often to see that we often bias. You will see another course in decision making. They psychologically they heavily study on the bias because the bias is a way shaping your heuristic module. We normally access something easy to understand out there, right? It's called a viability heuristic. And then we overweight our memory, which is experience, right? Because it's emotionally vivid and personal relevance. Retrievability heuristic, which is in our brain, you pick it out anytime. Right? And do self-serving way, which is based on our own value, belief, and perspective, what is called self-serving bias. Yeah, I can work outdoor for 10 hours, means everybody else can do the same, right? And of course, we're seeking for information that already established point of view, the confirmation bias, which is we go out and see, yeah, how long it effective for one adults who working outdoor. Yeah, 8 to 10 hours. Yeah, see, everybody can do it. Go around and see 5 to 10 local guy can do the same thing. Yeah, go out another 20 guy from the city can do the same thing. So we just try to confirm our own belief, self-serving. So this bias is going to be heavier study in the next course. But the key idea of this psychological approach have bias, and this bias make our heuristic approach different. And of course, we avoid the bias. That's why science always try to eliminate the bias or limit the bias. But psychologically, no, we don't. It's just falling on bias, and because the bias make us human, like made our gut. That mean okay, and we deciding and we make a judgment, right? We all know that our limit we have limited information and limit capability to think, right? And we have when we process the idea, we also have some sense, right? See, hear, smell, feel, right? It's that emotional or personality sense impact to our decision. So how we take off that thing? This course talk about filtering, right? Filtering is basically we eliminate and we categorize and we label and we classify of the different information. It will not scientifically. It's more like experience and bias to separate. So this psychologically approaching only based on a lot of experience, based on a lot of characteristic, uh, more than the rational thinking, logic, and process of the idea, right? So we be aware of that. Even you filtering, you create your own filter. So this filter could be biased too, because it's not based on rational thinking. And then we talk about anchoring. So anchoring is also bias, and which is we tend to make decision uh, based on we tend to make the new decision based on the old anchoring information we already hear somewhere, right? Yeah, people keep talking about this happen a lot in the market, right? In economics. That's why economics is basically it should be rational approach, but people emotionally attend the economics field. That's why they fail. Talk about this. For example, uh, anchoring. We talk about the heavily thing we hear in the news is market go down. What just want to say about the stock market go down because of the investor fear. Just the news, right? That's just the news. They don't explain too much. They just give you the information. Market go down today because the investor fear. So what is transferred into your mind? First, market go down, people losing money. Why? Because the investor is fear. Fear of what? Nobody care. Nobody know. We don't go deeply, rationally explain to it. And now we started seeing the market. Other people start jumping to the market. And you think that, yeah, the market go down. I don't know. I should hold this stock position or I should sell it because it could keep go down tomorrow and we need to cut the loss, right? And I think the investor is fear. So it keep anchoring the two idea market go down and investor fear. It's not going to the rational thinking process. You're not going to the analysis process. It's keep anchoring that idea. So we make adjustment of, yeah, it look like it'll go down. We cut a loss and you sell it. And the market go back tomorrow because of it is the reality. Market and down today and up tomorrow, and down in the morning and up the afternoon. It's based on multiple different theory and module, right? Need and demand is a one module. Market demand is a one module. Investor rational approach is one module. Political regulational context is one module. And what is called lack of transparency information and theory of fear and greed is one other module to making people flipping on different approach toward the market. So market can go up afternoon right after you sell it, right? When everybody sell it, right? But logically, the market could go deep down when everybody sell a fear. But sometimes it go up. You just don't know because you have so much anchoring in your brain. The anchoring is also a psychological phenomena that we'll be aware. We might hear that a lot, but it's not represent the fact. Okay. So we talk about evaluation. Of course, we be aware of the bias, right? And be aware of illusion of control, right? Illusion of control is also a psychological phenomenon which happen when we have illusion that can control with it. We know the risk, we know the action, we know the decision, we know the outcome. But clearly that is just our illustration. It's just our illusion. It's not a reality because you don't experience. Even you experience it one more time, it doesn't mean it'll happen again. Because the reality change. You change, people change, environment change. You might pick the wrong things. So that is illusion and control. For example, right? Do you have 10 years experience in nonprofit in America? and when you during your time, you working on your dissertation of your PhD, and you think that leading a nonprofit in Vietnam basically the same thing, right? When you make decision, people listen. That's an illusion of control, right? And so when you come to Vietnam, you make action, you take action, you see the risk. Oh yeah, the legal framework is the same, kind of the same. I understand it. The financial situation is kind of the same. Human being here is the same. There are not much of a systematic risk in here. People be okay with that. Yeah, my decision could be good for us. But actually, when you make decision, people don't listen. People don't take it, right? So you assume based on the experience, your bias or your illusion of control, you think that, well, people don't do it because they don't have enough motivation. And in America, how we make motivation, and in our experience, how we make motivation. The motivation is you belong to the bigger thing. You belong to the nonprofit. You are working on the greater good. You're a donor. You do a nice work. Do the nice thing on earth. People supposed to love that. But people in Vietnam right now, no, they don't. They don't care about that. I need money. That's sort of the group. They say, right, I have no time for this. Please don't let me do this. They take it and they don't do anything. Or they take it and say, yeah, I do it. But you and end up they don't do it. So they lie to you like a responsibility, right? It's happened. So you have illusion of control the outcome, but actually you're not. That is a problem. And so I think this end up a psychological approach. So we have a psychological perspective. First, we need to acknowledge the bound of rationality. We have limit information, limit capability of making decision. So we use heuristic shortcut to make a fast decision. We cut down the logical step into more psychological step. But that because we cut it down, the step, we be careful with our own bias and careful with our illustrations, which has happened in psychological worlds. That's it. And then we have the social perspective. Basically, it's based on social context and cultural. Yeah, I have a little bit deep explain of social construct reality. What does that mean? The fact we know is not the logical fact of nature. It is a fact created by the society, what we call collective knowledge, in not rational, natural knowledge. For example, physics, when we talk about physics and chemistry, physics and chemistry explain physics, explain the worlds, explain the universe, explain how we interact, how things formalize. Chemistry explain how different liquid and transfer phenomena biologically and in medical world formalized. So that is what they say. Based on the testing, thousands to millions experiment. So they're based on experiment. So that is based on fact. And that is the natural fact, right? Physics, that is based on fact. But sociology, like the term democracy or justice, is not based on the natural worlds. It's based on the society where that's term construct. That's why democracy in the West different with democracy in the East. Because we have different society, different worlds, right? Different social worlds, right? Democracy in 17th century different with democracy in 21st century, right? Because the terms, the definition of democracy change when society change. It's different with physics, right? It don't change. Well, we all build on a small speckle named atoms, and all the physicists agree with that. Base theory. Biologists based on the idea that we don't create it by cells, right? Biological human being created by cells. And DNA, the same terms, right? But democracy, when we talk about fairness, what's the fairness, right? Fairness of the East and fairness of the West, different, right? Fairness of the US, different. That's what, yeah, I see the same thing here. Western business have found China different expectation. The same thing. We have different society. So what we're talking about, social construct of knowledge, of social construct of reality. Like we make a rational decision, but in the society, it's heavily focused on the collective ideas, which is, for example, Vietnam. Our society heavily bound and bound by relationship, family focus. We heavily focus on the value of kindness, of family oriented, of sharing. If we use the approach, the decision is more individualism, which is focused on individual interest, not focused on sharing, focused on optimizing, pick the best interest for the small group of people. You see that it's hard to getting result in a different society, in Vietnamese society, right? We can start with really a simple idea. Right? It's about cultural. Why Starbucks is fail in Vietnam? Why McDonald's is fail in Vietnam? Basically the same thing. McDonald's is cheap. It's in America, $1, $2, $3. It could be cheap in Eastern, in Western society, but in Vietnam, expensive. A burger is 2 times expensive than the regular sandwich, the banh mi, and the speed of making it is slower. Normally you can get a delicious sandwich with $1, right? So now we compare a $1 burger and a $1 sandwich. What people want to eat more? The sandwich is from Vietnam, made by Vietnamese, which have a significant and is a signature value, represent Vietnamese cuisine, which is blended on human society, based on the society of Vietnamese as the favorite breakfast. Everybody eats sandwich. When you walk out, the whole neighborhood is sandwich in the morning. The lady who sells sandwich know you, talk with you all the time. Been in that corner for 30 years. She had a social construct of breakfast to you. When you have that, you feel belong to that society, group, or community. And you feel that in nature. But when you have McDonald's burger, you feel like, yeah, you can blend on Western cultural and it's something. So it's up to you. But how you can blend on that? Expect to blend on that when you live in among the bigger community of Vietnamese like me society. Some people like to belong to escape your own born society to other society or community for testing. But you cannot do it forever. You just see the difference between the social construct of breakfast. But reality is burger, American breakfast, even burger is created from Germany, right? But the reality of Vietnam is breakfast created on like me, which is uh, upgrade model, localized model of French baguette, right? That's how society twists the reality. That's the key idea I want to say. Now we can talk about this more in the external development of the social construct and social and collective knowledge. Okay, so we aware of that. Social institution is mean agreement among individuals to make up a community and groups. We talk about the socialization and social agency. We talk about, to have another term, institution. Institution is a way we forming social patterns and make it self-sustained. Community is social institution, right? How we instill community, like Greenify, how the institute, we make it into organization, how we make it formalize. First, you got to understand about sustainability development in the global level to the local level. Second, you got to do it in the framework of non-profit, right? You don't expect to make your own self-interest for that. You do it for the greater good, right? And third, you sharing your value to each other. Don't expect to achieve your own personal gain, right? Which is a form of community. We talk about community and society in the external development course the last 2 weeks. Gesellschaft and Gesellschaft. Basically, one is rational, one is emotional, and that's how we do it. You don't need to do anything complicated. Just we all love nonprofit. We all love sustainability development. We all like hang out with each other. Now we're forming the community. That's it. They explain about the idea of marriage, right? So marriage is something a big institution, different in Western and Eastern too, right? Besides that, the same thing of fidelity. The housework will be different, right? The woman do more housework in the East, but not in the West. The West we share fair share based on capability, but the East is based on cultural fidelity. Marriages mean you have a strong connection to each other, forming a new family. When we not really highly chained to divorce, right? Separation. Because society don't like that. Society like the long-term fidelity relationship. But in the West, right, America, yeah, well, divorce is normal thing. We don't like each other, we divorce, right? It's just like we break that agreement, right? But of course, in some Orthodox Christianity community, which is religion part coming into the Western society, it's not easy to divorce, right? In that, and they don't like to divorce. Because we putting more system of belief in that community, in that institution, in that structure. So it's different. So in the West, in the East, the Vietnamese, we don't have religion part of the marriage, right? We just have the cultural part of that. So it's different. But they have some community with religion, like Christian, Muslim, Buddhism, right? Society of marriages. They have extra layer of religion on that. That's why social institution is powerful, affect how we perceive the world, exercise judgment. Yeah, that's sociologist talking about that, right? Okay, we pursue of legitimacy. What is legitimacy? It just mean that decision, it fit the way things are done around here, where you see that one fit in the system. And look at what community element that were firm, share the cognitive schema, or the core idea about how the industry work, cost and effect relationship, and that constitute reasonable contact. For example, when we talk about doing business in United States, we maximize capability, maximize utility value. Yeah, people call it capitalism. Yeah, Marxism call it. That's a scenario of that. And who not maximize the value? We maximize for other people. We give other people stuff for free as a form of the system. We think that those behavior is an outsider of the cognitive stigma of the United States system. That's why they try to separate. You want to give back to the community. Yeah, doing nonprofit. Yeah, we have the term of social responsibility. But you need to be weighting your own interest too. You never forgot your own interest. If you forgot your own interest and give it to other people, please do religion, do charity. just not do business, right? So that is pretty clear. But in Eastern, in Vietnam, we pick it up. When we do business, of course, we have individual value. When we think about the social structural value, right? To do business is good, right? We talk about Vin Group, for example, big real estate corporate and now they expand in different fields of study, business. Yeah, you invest a lot of real estate, which is normal in the capital worlds, right? Capitalist worlds. But that impact to the people, where you invest so much in real estate, it's make other millions of citizens cannot afford to buy a house because the house price be manipulated by investment practice, not leading by supply and demand, which is I need more people. We need more house. Give me a house. How do you give you a house? Make the price affordable. Even that price affordable, minimize the benefit of the investor. So that is legitimate. And the government, what they want, government want to do. If the government is seeking for the fairness, what they're going to do? They're going to require the investor to lower down the price of the house. So now the people who cannot afford it can have some tendency of afford to buy the house, even that violate the private value, right? The individual value of investment. Rationally is mean you put one and you expect to highest gain. You put a principle expecting the highest gain as possible. But now you cannot expect the highest gain as possible because you have the social schema, right? The constitutive behavior of the society make you cannot have the best interest in the field. That's why a lot of different way of doing things in the West, like economics field in the West, rationally cannot work for the East because in the East, and we don't heavily focus on individualism. We don't heavily focus on rational thinking. We more about the psychological and sociological approach to make sure people wellness and like a competitions than the West. That's why competition put the hierarchy faster. So you have more achiever in the West, but the East is like more the peacemaker, the fairness, the sharing. If everybody come to social structure of sharing in the West, you won't see that system happen in Scandinavian where they are sharing. You pay the high tax, you mean you're sharing more to the social construct. And that's why the income is not really huge gap in that country. Since then people seeking for the balance, the sharing, the harmony. They're not seeking for competition. So where the goal achiever, the competitors want to achieve highest capacity go. They go to United States, right? Where that is the highest competing system. But if you don't like competing, yeah, go to Scandinavia, go back to Vietnam. This is about the social structure and legitimate of the system, and we accept it. I mean, we can change it, but of course, it's a social structure. You want to change it, you got to change the whole society structure for that. Okay, we talk about social pressure is a core idea too. Coercive, mimetic, and normative. So these three pressure impact our decision. Pretty clear. Coercive is mean social sanction that can apply. We do not act social legitimate way. Fair. Pretty simple. That idea of coercive. Legal norms. So different society have different norms, right? It's just social sanction. You don't do it. You violate the legal firms. you get punishment from the government. You go to prison. You've been sentenced. You get penalty, right? You go to you violate the social norms, which is not really illegal, but it's make the society don't like it. You've been boycotted by society. Yeah, there's so many example of that. Okay, mimetic pressure, which is it's just based on the word mimic. It's mean you imitate, you copy, you do the same thing what people do, right? That's why here you work at assignment or BP and you try to ask how does they do it. It's the same thing. You work for the government. And you expect how the government do it. Just try to copy it, right? You work on nonprofit Vietnam. It's the how the Melinda and Gates Foundation do it, and we just try to mimic it. So we copy it. I'll do it the same way. And of course, we're talk about normative pressure, which is what we think we should do, a broader social value. Yeah. So we not actively imitate other sample. We just do it because we believe that we should do to look like social peers and sharing the same outcomes, same practice with other sector, which is when we talk about organization, right? We talk about nonprofit organization. I wanted to mimic 501c3 in the United States, but the way the place I'm familiar with. But in UK, where this whole idea of charitable organization come from, it's different. It's not 501c3. In Thailand, it's not different, right? In European country, different. In Vietnam, it's different. But why I pick one? But I picked the one I ability to mimic, imitate it, and the one is biggest system so far, right? Where they have more resort, they say the same language. We catch the same channel in the radar, so make sure we understand each other and connect the resort, right? But normatively, we are about twisting into social enterprise in Vietnam because the social enterprise is normally what people do in Vietnam because it's just like a business. You you take 49% of the profit to your own shareholder and 51% for social development. That's the rules of the government. And majority of us of the Vietnamese organization do that because it's easier to them to register and manage that. Then you create a social community fund, which is like other charitable fund we have in the United States, because the funding is a little bit more gathering resort and distribute it for different enterprise than the enterprise who make the profit itself. So we heavily on fundraising and grant seeking than service provider. But yeah, that normative. Our neighbor, our partner do that. Why not we do that? Even it's not really the thing we want to do. And the selection of our organization, Greenify Vietnam, is we do we do both. And in the funding system, we do the 501c3 type social fund, like so we can connect with international system. But in the local level, we do social enterprise, so we can connect with other business startup entrepreneurs in the area. So we speak in both language. We connect it together. That's what we do. Okay. The way we deal with social pressure, we use the term decoupling, right? Well, decoupling, what does that mean? Okay. Western usually coping so tension between parent company causes the pressure. Right. Yeah, social media live when you're own driven. Right. Understand what manage your approach to the real story. Decide who we want to promote and if bonuses cover us go a room or right appraisal. But it's just one of the way to do that, right? They will try to adapt it in a different pressure, right? Which is majority of us do. And it happened more in the modern globalization where the West meets the East and different way of approach. Right? So we're taking actions and practice for the sake of appearance and not with any real engagement. What that mean? Yeah, we're meeting like the Western corporate type, but the way we inside value, we do like Eastern type with Eastern spirit. So we're talking like a brother and sister and not really like to compete with each other or argument, which is obvious in the West to achieve. So debating and decision making, what I used to say about storming the idea. When we say a storm, it's an idea compete each other. Is popular in the West to seeking for trust. When we're seeking for the trust, or the truth, or the fact, or the collective mind, we love to debate. It's like Western, they love debate. I have my own fact, you have your own fact. We compete. Let's see who is closer to a reality. We all know that we have limited ability, right? So the idea of debate, and based on logic and rules to make sure that work well. That's why meeting it should be look like that, right? It should be sticking for the truth. But in the East, we did the meeting with procedure, but we're seeking for the harmony, seeking for the sharing belief, which is might be compromise more than competition. So that is the way it coupling. The same process, but different underlying. So get out different outcome. Okay, we go in some sort of risk. In decision making, of course, a lot of risk. A rational economics perspective of risk, of course. We think about risk first. Okay. Yeah. Utility and wealth. Yeah, I'll just elevate it. Way to expect of utility theory. Basically, that higher risk come to higher gain. That is basically theory. So that's why economics, they try to analyze and manage the financial risk, portfolio management to maximize the value in the system of risk, or we try to minimize the risk in highest return. Of course, psychology of risk, we talk about risk, the complexity of loss and gain, right? You have the fear, you have the control factor, and in we talk about prospecting theory based on Kahneman and Tversky, which is the significant theory, the combination of risk and loss aversion, basically fear of loss more than the fear of loss and the risk impacting or risk seeking and motivating you more than the reward of gain. That's a basic idea of that. You can go deeper idea of this. It's mean we all fear loss. That's basically the idea that you can find more example in the book Think Fast and Slow and multiple study behind of that. Daniel Kahneman and Tversky, called prospect theory. Implication, right? Implication, we talk about control, perception, decision making, right? This implication of that prospect theory. Social construct of quantifiable risk. So we have the risk society. Yeah, so society, we have something called the intimate, right? That three social pressure that we want to do the same way like each other, which is mimetage. We talk about we do the same way like social structure, which is normative, and of course the society make us do that coercive, makes the idea of risk be twisted by social structure. All right? We talk about theory of social structures of unknown risk. So this is the myth of nature from Adams, 1995. So the terms we talk about is a key idea. It's different social groups have different approach to this uncertainty, right? It's small, but it press into the flat, it going nowhere. Press into the twist. Go down. Press is just the bounce. You go one bounce. Right? And when it presses into the hill, it's on the top. It doesn't change. So we see that the key idea of this model is different context, different line, when have different outcome of reality. When you do the same actions, it's the same thing with risk. We tolerate the risk differently. With a group of high net worth individual, we don't care about risk of finance because we have high net worth. We have money. We don't care about the financial risk. When they have enough people, we have billions of population. We don't really fear. The way we tolerate the risk of fatality is lower. Then we just have like 1,000 or the million or hundreds millions individual. 1% of 1 billion, right? Is 10 millions. And 1%, well, and you lost 1% of hundreds millions, so 1 billion. With 10 times tolerance about the fatality. So that's rationally it's the same thing, right? So we talk about 4 terms of the nature, which is first, capricious, see the world as essential, unpredictable. The world is unpredictable. We never can predict the risk and the impact. Second, nature as begin. This one believe strongly equilibrium. What equilibrium is just the status quo, the where we find the balance, right? The third one, this one, preserve and tolerant. With limit, the world is predictable and tolerant is of the shock of the system, right? Which is this a limit, the bounds a limit, and this bounds out here, it outside a limit. So we have limit, and so we can understand this limit sign. And the last one is the ephemeral. With definitely pessimistic view. A small disturbance can lead to profound potential catastrophic change. So we do small thing, but it change the whole shape, the idea. Right? What to see, right? We fear. It's about we fear of a society. Yeah, we fear that we if we do, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with way we think it right now. The 4 different way you believe nature in the non-profit practice, for example, or sustainability development. Let's take it. It's much easier. In a capricious view, we don't know. It's unpredictable, right? We don't know. Whatever science say, I don't care. We still don't know enough. I need more evidence. So basically, the practice of sustainable development is unpredictable. We just do it because we intimately believe on that. It doesn't mean it's gonna change something in the world. We don't change the world. We have the world is the unknown, right? We don't change anything. We're tiny animals in a majority vast universe. We don't change anything. And but with someone we believe the nature as a begin, we try to balance, right? Human destroy some sort of nature. So we need to heal the nature back to keep the balance between the nature and human life. between the destroy and creation, that balance. Who believe in preserve and tolerance believe that limitation, the world's unpredictable, and tolerance. What that mean is human being have a strong impact scientifically on climate change based on the industrialization and emissions. So this is a limitation, right? Emissions and climate change, global warming. We taking the serious um, role in global warming because we are human. We're the smartest species in this planet, and we burn it out. So what we got to do? We use all our capacity, which is limited, to fix that situation. And we cannot fix the other part of the other worlds of God. This is the other part is I know about the earthquake, about the moving of continental underframe and created to earthquake of volcanoes, and we have some marina crack under the ocean bed. That thing we cannot fix. We cannot. Yet it's outside of our limitation. We just can fix in our limitation of cut down industrial emission. Why? Because based on our own systematic knowledge of human civilization, which is science, that's what we do. And now we didn't cut it. So this is half and half, limitation and unlimitation. And the last one is ephemeral, right? Permistic view. We do one thing, but can be collapse everything, which is butterfly effect, the same things. No, don't kill. Stop killing the whale. Cultural. Japan and I think Sweden kill as whale as a part of the culture. Stop killing whale. Stop eating whale. We're gonna be make that whale, blue whale extinct. Like the ephemeral view of the carnivore. Stop eating meat. Eating meat will increase the gas emission, increase the cattling and farming, increase impact to our society, moral view about killing animal. We eat meat. We are all killer. We all destroy a moral system, society. Eat planet. Eat plant. Right? Permistic, radical. But yeah, eating meat create a catastrophic change of the mankind, right? Uh, uh, Stop using oil and fuel. Change whole thing into electric. It could be creating catastrophic change. And some people fear about catastrophic change, don't want to change because it will create catastrophe, right? That's how we see, how we tolerate the risk. If we think the risk could take and deal with some limited scope, we more about this, right? Preserve and tolerant. But if we seek for the balance, someone who believes that, yeah, we don't change anything and we change everything, which is both of that is so radical. Those type of people will not change anything, but they fear change, right? And we talk about making difference, the decision making. Of course, that's the way they talk about that. The first rule: accept the limitation of rationality, right? Or a limitation in different perspective. So, what is the effective one? Yeah, it's not explained to you. Very hard to explain. It's just be aware of different perspective. And you need to avoid a trap. Of course, the trap is psychological trap, the limitation of rationality trap, and the pressure of society trap. All right. Become an institutional entrepreneur. What that means that you create your own institutional work and value. In conclusion, yeah. Conclusion is decision making is quite complexity. deeply thinking about your activity. Be aware of limitation. Be aware of fail. Be aware of traps, and pick your own way to do it. That's basically the value of the course. So we can see it in here. I put some sort of key idea in module in here. Of course, in other side, we can see the decision-making model in here, rational, right? Rational when information is clear, decision important, maximize outcome. Balanced rationality is mean. We don't have much time to use the rationality, so the balanced rationality is smaller. We balance it. We accept a limitation of rationality, right? Intuitive is based on a psychological approach, right? Experience and time pressure, goals unclear. And we not talk about much of that. We talk about in the next course. It's a creative decision making. The solution is unclear, experience is unclear, right? And you seeking for the new goal, new way to doing the old things. And this is another logical decision making, rational decision making process that we can talk in a second course of Lumion that we can follow up in the next time. Well, let's start with that. And it's like quite a bit of time to understand the other variants of this, but I think it's the exciting part of this course is to understand the different module. So we closing this down today with a 3 different perspective of decision making module, and next time we'll go deeper about the module.